Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Escape Pod. Thank you for escaping with us. I'm Electra, and that's Scarlet Witch.
And as always, with great power comes great happy Halloween ability. Ooh.
Yes, our second annual Halloween episode. We've got a lot of horror movie, scary movie topics coming. We're going to rank our top 10 favorite scary movies or horror movies of all time. We're going to review couple of the movies going on right now, a couple of things. We're going to talk about The Penguin. Finally, you guys have been desperately asking us to do that. We're going to talk about Terrifier 3, my take on The Wild Robot, and of course, at the end of the episode, we will be reviewing Venom The Last Dance. That was a really good impression.
Ow! Ow! What is that?
Is there a little thing in the back?
Ow! Warn me that there's a needle! Ow!
Rachel, whose costumes these both are, is laughing hysterically off screen.
Ow! I got impaled.
Yes, and we will do spoiler talk for Venom, The Last Dance, right after that. So stay tuned for that. You want to start off with a high-low buffalo, Andrew?
You go.
I'm more than happy to start. I've got a high for you. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
According to Daniel RPK, who is a reliable source, Spider-Man 98 has been heavily discussed at Marvel Studios. So obviously X-Men 97 was a huge success for them. Obviously the animated Spider-Man show did end on a cliffhanger. Obviously we saw a cameo from him in X-Men 97 twice. And they are talking about doing a Spider-Man 98. What do you think about that? What's your take on that? Do you care? Are you excited about that? Because I think that's very exciting.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yes.
I love that show.
Yes, yeah. So that would be cool. We'll see if they actually do that. But as of right now, that's pretty freaking exciting news for me. My low is actually an exchange that happened on Twitter that I saw this morning. It was a Twitter account said, "What is a movie that ends on a high note for the protagonist, but if you think about it, they're actually pretty screwed?" Pretty interesting prompt. Do you have an answer for that off the dome?
Not off the dome.
No. Well, this said, well, not a movie, but a show. Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I said, what? And this is what it said. It said, the big bad is defeated, but Aang is the last surviving member of a culture slaughtered to extinction. Zuko, at 16, is the leader of an indoctrinated people, many of whom consider him a traitor. And Katara and Sokka have to rebuild their war-torn society.
I mean, yeah, I was always under the impression that they still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But like, it's the start of something new.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's still happy, but like, yeah, I mean, there's comics about Sokka and Katara going back home, and like the Northern Water Tribe coming to the Southern Water Tribe and trying to like rechange kind of their society and bring in new stuff, and like Sokka's kind of on board with it, but Katara's like, what about our mom, and like, what about our traditions and all this stuff? So that's something they have to deal with, and there's plenty of comics where like Aang and Zuko like still get into it sometimes about like decisions to make and stuff. So yeah, they're children.
Yeah. Very interesting.
But you know, I'm not worried about Aang being the last member. Him and Katara got to work.
My man. It just came to mind, another movie that it's got a happy-ish ending, but it is kind of a dark ending, is Joseph Gordon-Levitt finding the Batcave at the end of Dark Knight Rises. If he tries to take on the mantle of Batman, he is dead immediately. He didn't train with the League of Shadows.
I hope he's dead immediately.
Yeah, he probably is.
I hope so. Mm-hmm. What a terrible decision.
Yeah, not a good move. Just stay being a cop, Robin.
It's probably under my other name, Robin.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
I remember everybody in the theater going, oh. Like,
no.
Nobody cheered. Everybody just went like, oh.
Yeah, I heard groans. Like, ah.
That's funny. And then my Buffalo, talking about something random. It's Halloween.
Them shoulders be out.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was distracted for a second.
It's Halloween, and saw some pretty interesting costumes at a party I went to yesterday. Seen some interesting costumes this whole week, but this whole couple of weeks. I think the best costume I've seen was a costume that was at our party, which was the great Kurt Toshi came to our party, our Deadpool Wolverine X-Men themed party, as Lord Farquaad Poole. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was pretty hilarious. So just wanted to on my high-low buffalo, my buffalo. Shout out what I thought was the best costume of this Halloween season. Your turn.
Yeah, so the high, I gotta, I love when stuff is moving and we're grooving and things are happening. So my high is just like some of the stuff that's happening. Was just in Orlando, went to Halloween Horror Nights, hung up with Ducks Takes, Blake and Garrett. Did some basketball trivia with them, blah, blah, blah. And we got a world premiere tonight. Filming with a guest tomorrow. I got a screening on Tuesday, and then I got another world premiere on Wednesday for Arcane.
Very exciting.
I always like taking suggestions from the audience. I'm pumping out all sorts of content all over the place at the moment. So if y'all have any suggestions of what you'd like me to do at Arcane or film, or any questions you have you want me to answer, let me know about that. My low, for some reason, your girlfriend has decided that she wants to sabotage my life and stab me in the back, literally. Yeah. That's my low at the moment. It is wildly uncomfortable. Did you put her up to that? Or?
I did.
You did?
I did. I actually put a sword in that costume for you to stab yourself.
Like a little tiny,
it's a tiny sword.
It's a little sword.
Yeah, it's a sword for one of those miniatures, like a model.
Okay.
That you see next to a train set saying all aboard.
I can just imagine you last night with a little sword just sewing it in.
I'm actually quite a sewer.
I'm going to get the F out of him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the tack on the guy's chair, the teacher's chair in Incredibles.
No tack. Then there's a tack. Coincidence? I think not. He moved. He moved right there. He moves. I don't know how he does it. I don't know. Mrs. Parr, you and Dash can leave. No. You letting him go? He can't keep getting away with it. Great movie. So my Buffalo. Speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, I went. Great fun time. I did the Six Flags one. Which had Saw and Conjuring and all that. That was fun. Not as high budget as Halloween Horror Nights. You go to Halloween Horror Nights and everything is just like that's expensive.
State of the art. Yeah.
Their scare zones weren't as good this year. I don't know if we talked about that. I didn't think their scare zones were as good. They had one that was like medieval torture.
Fun.
Which was kind of interesting. That one was good, and then the rest were just kind of there.
Blumhouse?
The Blumhouse one is fine. There weren't a lot of people in it when I walked through it, but those two. And normally they have chainsaw people in Simpsons Land. And apparently they didn't have that last year or this year. That used to be a tradition. I don't know why they're not doing that anymore. The Insidious house was amazing. My specific Buffalo is when I was going through, I told you this story.
Yes.
I was going through the Latin America Monsters house.
Yes.
Which I liked their house last year. So they brought it back. And Blake.
Oh, it was like the Chupacabra thing again?
Yeah. Is that what they did last year? I don't think they did. I think it was a little different, but it's still the same kind of thing.
Gotcha.
They were going through it. Blake was 2 people ahead of me, and he walks through. So we were going through the Latin America house at Halloween Horror Nights. Blake walks through this door frame, and he looks to his right, and he jumps, and he like jumps again. I'm like, okay, shoot, there's something through this door. So I walk through the door. I look to my right because I want to see what it is. Like, every time you take a turn or a corner at Halloween Horror Nights, you're checking all these little crevices. And I look to my right, and I'm not expecting a stilts guy to be there. So I was expecting someone to be hiding or whatever, and instead I'm seeing this like 10-foot freaking gargantuan person. So I jump really hard.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And then as I'm jumping and on my back foot, I turn to start walking forward again, and I'm telling you, there's another stilts guy about this far away from my face. I pulled my back, falling to the ground so hard. My lower back ached the rest of the night. It was the first house we did. It was massively unfortunate, but it was the most I've ever gotten in any house ever. And it was so bad. It was so awesome, which made it like my second favorite house was just that scare.
Yeah.
So yeah, go to Halloween Horror Nights if it's still around, if you can. All these people that are like living in the middle of the United States or like in Spain. Totally effed.
Go to your local haunted hayride.
Yeah. But that's my Buffalo.
It's pretty good. Shall we talk about The Penguin?
Yes.
So everybody has been on our ass. You gotta watch The Penguin. You're gonna watch The Penguin. When
it's your literal job. You talk about movies and TV shows. Why haven't you watched it?
You gotta watch The Penguin. Well, in our defense, we usually review shows when they're over, when they're done. But you forced us. So we're going to talk about this a little bit early. We did talk about X-Men 97 as it came out. We talked about Agatha a little bit. But now we're talking about The Penguin. Are you fully up to date? You didn't watch the latest episode.
The latest episode came out last night. I've watched half of it.
Has anything been spoiled for you? Or does it happen in the first episode?
Nothing from episode 5 has been spoiled for me.
Okay. Did a major thing happen?
I don't think so.
Okay, something major is going to happen.
I'm so locked.
Uh-huh.
So what you don't want to give it a ranking out of 10 yet?
No. But the Penguin is fucking phenomenal.
Yes.
You have a problem with it.
No, what I want to say about the Penguin is it's so like impressively better than Agatha.
Sure.
Mainly I'm saying this because Connor,
yes,
our
friend of the show,
is like gassing up Agatha. And again, we haven't seen episodes 5 or 6, so it could be getting better.
Sure.
But even if it does get better, ow, frick you. A little sword in my bag is hurting.
My man.
It's like, it's just wild to me that he could even be comparing these two shows. So he was like, for like the first 3 or 4 episodes, I was enjoying Agatha more.
Wrong.
Pourquoi?
Hilariously wrong.
He was like, it's slow. Brother, what?
No, it's so good.
I love every single thing about the Penguin.
Yeah.
I love everything. Colin Farrell is great.
He's incredible.
The way he looks is great.
Yep.
His little mannerisms is great. His accent, the way he interacts with other people. And also, I might be a little biased. I love gang mafia type shows.
Yep.
Sons of Anarchy is one of my favorite shows of all time. I like Peaky Blinders. I like all that kind of stuff. So it's one of my... I am comparing it to Daredevil, in my opinion, in terms of live action superhero shows of all time.
Wow! I think you're a little bit ahead of your horses there.
I'm sure I am. I'm sure a lot of people are going to tell me that, but I love everything about it.
You're saying in terms of live action superhero shows, the Penguin belongs in the conversation with Daredevil at the top of your list.
Yes.
Wow.
And this is coming from someone who is at the same time
watching Daredevil season 3
for the
which
first time.
Everybody raves is the best season ever.
And it's great.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the episodes. I'm just really enjoying Penguin 2. I'm not ready to say which one's better. I'm just saying.
But you're saying they belong in the conversation.
The feeling that I get watching both and how I enjoy both is very similar.
I'm not going to yuck your yum, as one would say. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Not many people say that.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to I don't think I'm...
Stand strong in your convictions.
I'm not ready to say that.
I'm not going to yuck your yum.
The Penguin is great so far. I do have an issue with it, though, that I wanted to discuss with you. So here's my issue with the Penguin. And I think they do a really good job of fleshing out Gotham and how Gotham is. And everybody likes to say Gotham is a character and this and that. I think they're doing a really good job fleshing out Gotham and everything like that. I don't like that he's the only guy with the accent. Does that make any sense to you?
His mom has the accent.
Yeah. But
so it doesn't bother me.
Nobody else, like Victor doesn't have an accent and Sophia doesn't have an accent. And
why they just could have moved to Gotham from somewhere else.
That's what I want more of going forward. I want more people to have the accent, or else it's just, I loved it in the Batman. Because, what are you showing me? Why are you showing me that, right? Like, I loved that because it's like, oh, that's the Gotham accent. And then I watch the show and everybody's like, well, it's the best Gotham we've ever gotten. And I'm like, great. And I'm thinking everybody's going to have the accent. Nobody's got the fucking accent. That's
one of your Alex-isms for some reason.
Go fuck yourself, Andrew.
I mean, come on. I mean, he's got an accent. Why does everyone else have to have an accent?
I want more people to have the accent. It would make the world feel more lived in. In The Sopranos, they're all Italian.
I think that, yeah.
So they have accents. I want that.
But you don't know why he has the accent. He's the main character. Like, it could be for a bunch of different reasons. All the Sopranos have accents because they're all, I assume, like, family, and they're Italian. If one person in the Falcone family that had a different accent than all the other Falcones, I might understand a little bit more.
All right. I'm not getting you with that. But overall, Penguin is phenomenal. I think you're a tad higher on it than me.
I freaking love it. Like, from the first scene in the Penguin where it does the little recap of the Batman and he's standing up there.
It's really good. The first scene is good.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then it starts with a bang, literally, and you're like, oh. I care more about like side characters in this show than I do about some other shows like Agatha.
Yeah, I'll give you that every other week.
Like even Agatha herself, I care less about than like Victor's girlfriend. Like I care. Like Victor's awesome. I love Victor.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting.
And Sophia Falcone is such a dope character. I freaking love her. Her episode, I was like, they're almost doing too good of a job of making her not the villain, in my opinion. Because, like,
no.
Yes.
Okay.
What has she done that's wrong?
A lot.
Give it to me.
I think you are letting the 4th episode, which is her episode, cloud your judgment of the crazy shit she pulls in the first 2 episodes.
What?
She just kills a bunch of people.
Who?
When she thinks that Penguin is responsible for the death of her brother,
yeah,
she has the guy almost cut off Penguin's arm.
Right. You don't think Penguin would do that? I'm talking about her as a villain towards Penguin.
Sure, but Penguin is also irredeemable. Like, Penguin's also a bad dude.
But we're pulling
She
for
is
Penguin.
a bad dude. She's a bad person.
We're in a world of bad people. I know that. But I'm saying, like, Penguin's supposed to be the main character that we, like, somewhat slightly pull for.
Sure, but I'm glad that they're doing the thing where, like, yes, he's a bad guy. I would be so pussy if they made him
Venom.
I think
I'm glad they're not doing
Gotham's Penguin is too nice. Gotham's Penguin does some bad shit, but Gotham's Penguin also does things that are too nice. I'm glad that this Penguin is also a bad guy. When he puts Victor fucks up in episode 2, when he puts him in the hole, oh, we're really going into spoilers. Whoops.
Keep going.
He does something really mean to Victor in episode 2. I was like, this is awful. What an awful thing to do.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
I'm glad that they're all bad people.
Yes. And most shows that have a gangster mob
they're bad
storyline, like
Walter White's a bad person.
Well, that's even more like he starts as a redeemable character and becomes one that's not.
Yeah.
And most, like, in Sons of Anarchy, you're pulling for the main character even though they do messed up stuff sometimes, because they're doing messed up stuff for, like, a goal or something. Like, you're pulling for Jax in Sons of Anarchy until the last episode. So this one's a little different because Penguin's probably a little worse than him. But what I'm saying is, like, Sophia was portrayed in the first couple episodes as a psycho, irredeemable character. And by episode 4, you're like, okay, so she didn't do any of those things.
Yeah.
And the terrible thing that she does in episode 4, I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good for her, I guess.
Yeah. There was a big fist bump moment there.
And, like, again, Penguin's the main character, and he is the one, again, that's like, she's been taken advantage of, like, her for the last decade, and, like, she finally trusts someone again, and the one she trusts and backstabs her is the person that's the title character. So I feel like, I don't know, like, obviously she's the bad guy and is supposed to lose, but at the same time, I'm like, but is she going to?
No,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think this is all setting up probably, though, for Batman 2, and I bet you she's a big part of that.
Really? That'd be interesting.
I think this is like a origin story for her.
Regardless, because of the Penguin, I am locked into the rest of the season and also anything they do with this universe. You don't like the Batman? I like the Batman enough. It's like
I also don't dislike the Batman. I just am lower on it than everybody else.
Right. I like it, and then this is unbelievable in my opinion.
Higher on this show than I am the Batman.
Sure.
For sure.
I mean, I am
personally.
too, and I still like the Batman.
Yeah.
So now, like you said, like maybe they bring Sophia into the Batman 2 or Penguin or whatever. They do another season. They do another spinoff. I'm in for any of it if this is how good it's going to be. I love it.
Shout out the Penguin. I'm glad we're watching it now.
Yeah.
On to some Halloween stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
Not that the Penguin isn't Halloween-y. Oh, thank you, Rachel, for reminding me. You ready for this?
Yeah.
This is kind of a buffalo of a high-low buffalo, but it has to do with the Penguin. I have to say this. The other night, middle of the night, I think I watched at this point the first 2 or 3 episodes of the Penguin right before bed. And for whatever reason, something wakes me up in the middle of the night. And I turn over and I turn to Rachel, who's laying next to me, and I go, Sophia, are you okay?
You did what?
She's obviously livid with me. She goes, Sophia who? And I look at her with like, are you nuts? I just go, Falcone? Like, the biggest, are you an idiot face of all time? And let me tell you why this made sense in my head at the time, okay? I had a dream that me and Rachel were infiltrating the Falcone family or something in Gotham.
Sounds like a sick dream.
And Rachel was there as Sophia Falcone. So
she was incognito.
Exactly. So when she woke me up or something, and I said something about Sophia. I was like in my dream still being like, she's Sophia right now. She's undercover as Sophia. I got to make a gesture about her being Sophia. And then when she was like, who the fuck is Sophia? I was like, you're blowing our cover. Sophia Falcone.
Shut the F up.
I wake up in the morning at like 8 a.m. or whatever. I woke up and I thought about, I like remembered that and I was like, oh, I'm like a nuts. I'm nuts.
You're nuts.
She thinks I'm nuts. But in my mind, in that moment, I was like, duh, Sophia Falcone. So there you go.
That's really good.
The penguin is invading my love life.
You got to stay in character, Rachel. You're gonna get killed.
You're gonna get us killed.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. So on to some Halloween-y stuff. I recently had the displeasure of seeing Terrifier 3. 1 out of 10. It is the worst movie I've seen this year.
Excellent.
Worse than Borderlands and Madam Web. I get that people love these movies. I get why you love these movies. They're not for me. I hate them. I hate them.
Well, I've said publicly, or maybe not publicly, but I have kind of boycotted Terrifier 2 and 3 because I think 1 is so stupidly bad. Like, I know the budget was low and it was the first one, and like the second one's supposed to be a lot better and higher quality or whatever. I just see that as like kind of like a nothing movie with just trying to do shock value and like cool. I know a lot of people like that. I like Saw. I like plenty of random gross stuff, but like Saw has more to it than apparently any of the Terrifier movies.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's just a big thing for me with Terrifier, where Terrifier, I think Terrifier 1 is better than Terrifier 3.
Wow.
Like, Terrifier 1 is not a good movie. I also hate that movie.
Yeah.
But I
give Terrifier 1 like a 1 out of 10.
Yeah. I get what you're trying to do there and everything. And I haven't seen Terrifier 2. And I'm watching Terrifier 3. And I'm seeing that there's like clear lore that I've missed because I didn't see the second one. Like, this character had a bad experience and this thing happened and this thing happened and this thing happened. But like, it seems, I haven't seen the second one, but in the third one, so I assume the second one, they are trying to take the shock value concept farther by introducing lore that makes no sense.
Interesting.
The lore that they added, that I've now seen in Terrifier 3, makes the movie Terrifier 3 worse than Terrifier 1, which is a simple concept. It's a bad guy shock value. That's what the first one is. The third one is, you're clearly trying to do a story here, and it is not working at all. On top of the gross shock value, that's not for me. Art the Clown, I get it. I get he's become now a horror icon. We'll talk about that in a minute. But like, God, you can only dismember so many children before I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, have you heard the director come out and say, like, there's even certain lines he won't cross, and one of those is doing bad things to children on camera?
On camera?
Yeah.
You see multiple children's body parts in this movie.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, the shock value, I just don't like movies that are bad and boring for the entirety of the movie, only to get to a point where they can, like, it seems like they were lazy for the rest of the movie. This, again, we're pissing off so many people right here, and I'm sorry. If you think everyone in the world should like Terrifier, then you're just insane. Like, I'm so glad y'all like it. And again, I haven't seen 2 or 3. I might like 2 or 3. I've heard that they're going to do 4 and 5. So if there's going to be a whole thing, and our friends Blake and Garrett from Duck Takes really like it, and I wanted to be able to talk to them about it. So maybe eventually I'll be convinced to watch it. So again, I don't know. But like, this is one of the problems I had for Midsommar. I didn't think Midsommar was that good, and it was just boring until like the last scene where you're like, oh, there's 20 naked women in this room, and we're going to set a guy dressed as a bear on fire. Like, so that's completely different. I know Midsommar is completely different from Terrifier, but Terrifier 1 is just like absolutely no story, and we're basically just crafted this entire movie just so we can saw a girl in half from the vagina.
Yeah.
Which is like, I understand the shock value there, and the shock value doesn't normally bother me that much as long as there's something else to go along with it, because I feel like you're just being lazy for the rest of the movie just so you have an excuse to do something gross. And doing something gross isn't necessarily bad. Again, I love the Saw movies.
Yeah.
They're tearing people's faces off and burning things alive, and doing all kinds of gross stuff in those movies. So, anyways.
Yeah, I just you completely lost me with the lore and everything. I can't stress it enough. And the movie is bad. It's boring when it shouldn't be boring. You don't care about any of the characters. They don't do a good job of doing a good characterization of any of these characters. The acting is subpar in scenes.
And again, you can excuse some of that if like that's what a movie's supposed to be. Like if a campy horror movie is going to be a campy horror movie, or like Transformers, they're not the best thing in the world, but they're fun and they're doing what they're supposed to do. Like blah blah. Blah. You can excuse some of that for Terrifier. I understand that it's enough an excuse for people to still like this, but I do think some people are just like ignoring the fact that some other people might not like it, or there's things that aren't great in this movie because they like art so much and they like the fact that it's pushing the boundaries and the lines. And I love when movies do that sometimes, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like all of them.
I love that. Let's just wrap this into a bow and move on. But the thing with Terrifier, and I know we're going to post these clips that we're talking about right now. I know we're going to get absolutely cooked.
Yeah.
Because people love the Terrifier franchise so much. But I do like... I'm not knocking anybody that loves this franchise. I totally get why people like this.
Yeah.
But equally so, huge fans of Terrifier should have no problem understanding why somebody could hate it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's one of those where it's like, if it's for you,
sure,
good for you, but like you also shouldn't have an inability to understand why someone else might not like them.
I posted my review on Letterboxd, and I gave Terrifier 3 half a star, and I said, yeah, I hate these. Like, that was my review. And there were like, it's one of my most commented on Letterboxd reviews ever, where like people are like, you have no media literacy. Like, this is one of your worst takes. And it's like I get it. I get why you like it, but like, Terrifier is not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not The Lion King.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody should like Terrifier.
Yeah.
If
I think the creators and actors in Terrifier wouldn't be like, everyone should like my movie. Like, they know what they're doing.
Yes!
It's like, it's gotten to the point where like I've seen so many people be upset about so many different things, and like so many people are contradictory in what they like and don't like. Like, just F off. Like, sorry we don't like Terrifier and Terrifier 3. My bad.
Yeah. Well,
glad you do.
The last thing I want to talk about with Terrifier is I do like that the old ways are being repeated. You know, there's a lot of talk about how newer generations of kids, they're being raised completely differently. They're raised in this digital age. They've got an iPad at their hand at 2 years old, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of things that aren't carrying over that maybe we had in our childhood or our parents had in their childhood, whatever. But there is a story that apparently thousands upon thousands of kids are buying tickets to the Wild Robot to go into Terrifier 3. I love that. I love that that's still happening. I'm so glad that kids are still doing that.
Would you have done that?
I did do that. I bought a ticket in 2015 for Age of Ultron to go see the Entourage movie. I would do that all the time. I'm so glad that the old ways are still being continued, because that's great. That's always been the move. Buy a ticket for the kids movie, go to the rated R movie.
Yep.
Glad that we're still doing that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's good.
So speaking of Terrifier, is art hot?
I don't think so.
You know, there's a trend, and it's, you know, you're running away from a villain, and but the villain is Anakin Skywalker.
And
I get it. Yeah. I get that's Anakin Skywalker, but I'm seeing a lot of Art the Clowns.
Yeah. Therapy, maybe?
You need some help.
Maybe some therapy.
Right? The nose?
The nose, the black mouth?
Ooh, you're right. He does have a black mouth.
Yeah, everything's black in there.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, no.
He's got some funny mannerisms, though.
He's entertaining.
He is.
He gets into character. Well, don't do that too much.
No, certainly not.
Certainly not.
Scream. Is Scream hot?
Yeah, so can we talk about the fact that, like, everyone wants to bang Ghostface?
Mm-hmm.
I get it, but I also don't. The extent to which everyone wants to bang Ghostface.
The extent is what I don't get.
Like, I get that it's somewhat of a thing, but like, I've never met anyone that's not like, I would let Ghostface take me right here, right now. And I think that might be a problem for our society.
It's what it is it's, first of all, Matthew Lillard. is young Matthew Lillard is hot.
Yeah, but also Billy Loomis.
Certainly hot. But so it's that, and it's also like the girl is just imagining whoever their celebrity crush is.
Under the mask?
Exactly.
That's not how that works.
But it is. I think that's what it is. I think Rachel's like, oh yeah, I'm a big Scream fan. I like Ghostface because she's like, oh, it's Austin Butler.
Is Austin Butler under your Ghostface mask? She nodded. Who's under your Ghostface mask?
Adele.
I got 2 words for you. Jenna Ortega.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, just the extent to which, I mean, serial killers on mass aren't hot. You got to remember that. Like Ted Bundy, handsome man.
Yeah.
But like the rest aren't.
No. And like if you want to think about like Mike Myers under the mask is not, and Jason is horribly deformed.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I get it. Would you role play him in a Ghostface costume? Do not lie to me. She hesitated. That's 100% a yes.
She's smiling. She's laughing.
Yeah, she's giggling. She's kicking her feet, dude. You got to get on that.
I want to role play in this.
She's Daredevil?
Hot. Put her in some glasses. She ain't gonna see a thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, I get it. He's kind of hot. There's a thing for like masks, just period. But yeah, that's everyone's go-to bang me horror character. And,
I don't know. Personally, not for me. Is there a hottest horror character?
Just like any horror character. Lorraine from X. Two words for you.
Jenna Ortega. Nice. Good pull getting her name. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
She gets an axe to the face, right?
Never seen it.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
That sounds hot though.
She's dead as shit.
Maybe I need therapy. I looked some up, but honorable mentions that I haven't seen, but I've seen pictures of. Selma Hayek in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Is that a horror movie?
Well, I looked it up, and this was a list of horror characters.
From Dusk Till Dawn is not a horror movie.
What is it?
It's a Quentin Tarantino, George Clooney, like
horror movie.
Buddy cop.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. But that's the picture of her from that movie I've seen as like
she's very hot.
The hottest anyone's been in any movie
Which is
ever.
perfectly fair. It is fair. That's a fair answer.
Is Jennifer's Body a horror movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so Megan Fox in that.
Yeah. I'll give you that every day of the week. Emma Stone in Zombieland. It's a horror comedy, but she looks good in that one. Oh, you got what's her face at the start of Scream? She's hot. And then Carmen Electra at the start of Scary Movie is spoofing that.
And then the phone call girl is hot, and then the main character in Scream in general is hot. Johnny
Depp is really hot in Nightmare on Elm Street 1. That was his first movie. In the credits, it actually says introducing Johnny Depp.
Nice.
Yeah, he's really hot in that movie. I mean, there have been hot people in horror movies. Yeah. Is Freddy at all hot?
No.
And he's like a predator. He's like a pedophile.
He's a pedophile?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think that's what it is. He fucks the kids and then they burn him alive and now he can go into your dreams. Or maybe he kills the kids only. I think he's a bad dude. He's
clearly a bad dude. I just don't know if he's touching kids. We should kill him either way. But like, you know that phobia of like holes?
Yes.
His face is that. What's it called? Trypophobia. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
His face is all holy, right?
Yeah.
It's gross.
It's gross.
He's got the...
Yeah.
No, he's not hot. Ghostface is way hotter. Is Michael hot? No.
No.
He's like an old dude under the mask, too. And mask
Jason, I don't think Jason's hot.
No.
Who are like the other horror icons? Is the Xenomorph hot? You could certainly make the argument.
You can make the argument. I mean, there's John Kramer, who's an old guy. Mm-hmm. Love him. Icon. Yes?
Psycho?
Norman Bates?
Patrick
Bateman is
hot.
supposed to be hot, yeah. But, yeah. Billy the Puppet's not hot.
No.
Jigsaw.
No.
John Kramer's not hot. Amanda, his assistant, you could maybe make that argument. It's a little weird, but yeah, I don't know.
People like Art the Clown. Good for you.
Yeah, comment your favorite hottest
Who
horror
is the
character.
hottest horror character? I'm sure we're missing some big ones. I'm sure we're going to get yelled at, but...
Yeah. Next. What you got? You're pointing at me.
You want to do our top 10 favorite horror movies?
Yeah.
Shall I go first?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to do the 2-minute rule. I'm going to do this in 2 minutes. Let me get all this ready. I want to start off by saying, can I do my honorable mention before my 2 minutes starts?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
Play by the rules.
No, that's fair. Okay. Here are my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time. My favorites, personally. Gonna do this all in 2 minutes. Here we go. Honorable mention is to Godzilla -1. Everywhere I looked, Google, Letterboxd, everybody said it was a horror movie, but I don't think it counts as a horror movie. If it does count for a horror movie, it's in like the 6 or 7 spot. I love that movie. Number 10, I have Cabin in the Woods. I love it. Shout out Joss Whedon, not the best human being, but, we like quite a bit of his movies, and I think Cabin in the Woods is a fucking whale of a time. So much fun. Number 9 is the original Alien movie. I don't think it would have been here, but it is here because a week ago I got to see it at a back-to-back screening with that and another movie on this list, and it was incredible in the theater. No wonder that movie just blew everybody's minds when it came out. It's incredible in a movie theater. Number 8 is Sinister. According to that scale, according to science, it's the scariest movie of all time. Yeah, I felt that the whole way. That movie is a haunting watch. At number 7, a bit of a classic, we've got the original blockbuster, Jaws. I love Jaws. Jaws has some great jump scares and overall the concept, and it made so many generations of people scared of sharks. Love Jaws. Number 6, I've got one of the newest ones on this list. I've got Talk to Me from last year, a movie that I hope they make a franchise out of. It just absolutely blew me away. I loved every second of Talk to Me. And number 5, not sure if this counts, but everybody says it's a horror movie. I've got Silence of the Lambs. I think Silence of the Lambs is a freaking masterpiece. Won so many Oscars for good reason. It is a fucking banger. At number 4, I've got The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing is incredible. You and I have talked about probably the best use of practical effects in any movie ever, and I think it's just awesome. It's a great movie. I care about the characters. I care about the ending. I love the movie. Number 3, I have The Conjuring 2. In my opinion, James Wan's magnum opus. I love Conjuring 2 so much. I think it's so much fun. One of the funnest horror movies I've ever seen. Even though I don't think it's better than The Thing or Silence of the Lambs, I love it. I love it more. Number 2 is Hereditary. Hereditary is the scariest movie I've ever seen. Hereditary is just so sad and haunting, so well acted. Toni Collette was robbed of an Oscar nom, let alone a win. Masterpiece. I love Hereditary. And at number 1, a movie I've talked about to death this year, Alien Romulus.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Nice work.
I went a little bit over 2 minutes.
What? There's got to be a punishment.
I know. I'm already dressed like a woman.
So am I. We're even there. Next. We're going to think of some punishment for you.
I know.
Yeah, he's got a strip, maybe. All right, ready?
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
I can time it.
No, I got it. All right, ready? Mm-hmm. Here are my top 10 horror movies of all time. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I'm going to start with my honorable mentions. The original Halloween.
Yep.
There are 2 Halloween movies. I know this is crazy to a lot of people, but Halloween Ends. No, not Ends. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No.
Not Ends. Ends
Kills.
sucks balls. Kills.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills. I really like. Also, Jaws. I didn't think to put that on my list. It might be somewhere else, but I'm going to honorable mention that. Okay. At number 10, I have A Quiet Place.
Wow. Yeah.
Love A Quiet Place.
Yeah.
The second 2 were good. Third one fell off a little bit, but I like A Quiet Place. At number 9, I also have Talk to Me from last year.
Yep.
Last year. Blew me away.
Yep.
Such a good horror movie. And number 8, I have Scream.
Yep.
The original. I'm going to put the original in there, but I could also make the argument for Scream 7, the most recent one. I really like that one. 2 words, Jenna Ortega.
Of course.
After that, I have The Thing. I watched it for the first time this week. Blew me away. Kurt Russell's great. And again, the practical effects were just like so fun to watch. And just the whole aspect of like not knowing who's who and whatever. I think they did a great job with it. After that, moved from this year, love Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
Freaking great movie. After that, Silence of the Lambs. Another one that when I watched, I had always heard of, kind of like The Thing, and knew I had high expectations going into it because of all the things I'd heard about it. And then I watched it and I was like,
You're blown away.
Yeah, it was great. At number 4, these are my top 4 for sure. I've always had these top 4. At number 4, Jigsaw. Frick you guys. Frick you. Frick you. Frick everybody. No, wait, you like it. Yeah, never mind. I take my frick you back. She's great.
I haven't seen it.
It's awesome. My favorite plot twist of all time, Jigsaw. Everyone says it's one of the worst Saw movies. You are factually incorrect.
Boom.
Hereditary is my number 3. Scariest movie probably I've ever seen. It was one of the only movies in my entire life that made me look away from the screen. I was so scared. Number 2 is Saw, the first one, because I love it. That's my favorite horror franchise. And then Conjuring 2 is my number 1 as of right now.
Big James Wan guy.
Yeah, my top 4 could mix around, but Conjuring 2 is there.
Your top 2 are James Wan.
Yeah.
Love that. I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, there's plenty. Quiet Place is definitely in my top 15. I do like the second one about as much as I like the first one, though.
Yeah.
I think the Cillian Murphy inclusion is just great. He's so much fun in the second one. But I love a lot of your list. I'm not surprised to see Scream on there. I am, however, surprised to see so many movies ahead of Jigsaw, based on how much you sing that movie's praises. What's your rebuttal to that?
I mean, again, like I said, the top 4 are my top 4, and I really don't like putting my top 4 in an order.
Gotcha.
I decided to do it that way because Saw and Jigsaw I normally have tied as like my favorite Saw movie, but if I have to pick one, I'll just pick the original out of respect.
Fair.
So I put it up, and then Hereditary is like probably a little bit like better of a movie and scared me more. So like personally, I'd probably have Jigsaw one or 2, and Conjuring 2 I feel like is just the perfect horror movie.
Yeah.
It's got the possession stuff, it's got the jump scares, it's a good story. Like if I was to like pick a poster child for a horror movie, I'd pick Conjuring 2, so that's why I put that one a little higher.
I think you're cooking with
But
that.
top 4 I could mix around.
I fucking love Conjuring 2, man. The Conjuring 2.
It feels wrong not to have a Halloween in my top 10 because I am so sorry.
Thank you.
It feels wrong because I love Michael Myers. He's my favorite horror icon. I just think Quiet Place as a movie, and you reminded me of both Jaws and Silence of the Lambs, and I decided to put Halloween was my number 10, and then Silence of the Lambs booted it, so it's tough.
And you've definitely, it's interesting that you love Halloween Kills that much. I like Halloween Kills. I'm sure I've told you about this, but it's the only time I've ever been in the theater where people have actively booed and walked out, was the opening scene where he's killing all the firefighters. I couldn't believe it. But people booed in my theater, and many people walked out.
Like, dude, it's a Halloween Michael Myers movie. He's gonna kill people.
Yeah,
like what are you talking about?
I don't like. Nobody walked out or booed when Art the Clown was killing children in Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That surprised me. I'm happy. So much respect for our firefighters. But like, you would never see that with police in today's day and age. But yeah, there you go. You want to move on to a new little game kind of trivia thing we're going to do?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think you're going to find this fun and exciting. So the rules are pretty simple. I just want to say we are almost completely stealing this game from the TikTok channel, The Bread Basket. They do a lot of great stuff. Definitely check them out. But I saw them doing this, and I thought it would just be so fun to do with the two of us. So we're going to try it out. So essentially, it's a game of one of these is not like the other. I'm going to tell you 5 things. They can literally be anything. They can be actors, characters, movies. They could be all random stuff. Doesn't matter. They are all have something in common except for one of them. You have to pick out which one doesn't match.
I get like 3 questions?
No, you just got to know.
Oh, that's not how they do it.
Oh, I've never seen them ask the questions.
What? That's what they always do.
Yes, not the ones I've seen.
I think you're like literally having an aneurysm.
Not the ones I've seen.
They ask like, okay, is this character like animated? And he's like, okay, so I can cross these people off.
That's not the game we're playing, though.
That's the game you just described. One of them doesn't belong.
No. They play that. That's the what's this game? It's like Who or
Guess
something.
Who?
Guess Who? That's them playing Guess Who. This isn't that. I'm going to give you 5 things, and one of them doesn't belong. Look, the first one's obvious, so I'll just start with this. All right. The Avengers, Batman v Superman, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Thunderbolts.
Read them again.
The Avengers, Batman v Superman, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Thunderbolts.
Doctor Strange?
No.
It's the only one that's not like a group movie.
Batman v Superman isn't in the MCU. Every other movie is in the MCU.
Ooh.
I thought that was extremely obvious. Rachel got that in testing.
Yeah. I'll take the L on that one. Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on.
I'll get the rest.
The next
Don't
one's
worry.
an Avatar one, so you should do well with this one. All right.
Well, I didn't do well with the Avatar trivia last week. I missed
No, you
two.
didn't. If you miss this, we're just putting this game away.
Okay.
Korra, Kuruk, Toph, Katara, Azula. I had you. I know I did.
Frick. Kuruk, Korra, Toph, Katara, Azula. Mm-hmm. Kuruk.
Yes, because he's the only non-female bender.
Ooh.
Why did you pick Kuruk?
He's only not child.
Oh, well, it still worked. It doesn't matter. You got it right. It doesn't.
I got lucky.
You don't need to do the why. This one's significantly harder. I don't think you're going to get any of these now.
Because I can't ask a question.
What question would you have asked?
I can ask stuff to narrow it down. They do like 10 characters though. Okay, keep going.
So this is what I'm talking about. You're talking about the guess who 10 characters thing.
In that they say there's one that doesn't belong.
But I'm telling you that's not what we're talking about. I'm going to show you what we're doing.
Yeah, there's a
right
different
now.
game, but both of them have the basic premise of one of these is different than the others.
This is what we're currently playing.
Which character doesn't belong on this list, Zach? You got 4 dogs and 1 cat here, Danny. That's a pretty easy round 1.
Yeah.
It's going to be Simba. It's going to be Simba. Way to take care of business there in round 1. We're into round 2 here. Going to get harder as we
I got it.
I know what you're talking about. You're wrong though. All right.
I'm not wrong.
They don't ask questions in that.
Not in
form.
that one, no.
Exactly. So this is the same thing. Round 3, this is tough. J.K. Simmons, Henry Cavill, Zachary Levi, Randall Park, and Michael B. Jordan.
Read them again.
J.K. Simmons, Henry Cavill, Zachary Levi, Randall Park, and Michael B. Jordan.
J.K. Simmons.
Wrong. It was Michael B. Jordan. He is the only actor that doesn't appear in both an MCU movie and a DCEU movie.
He's also the only black one.
Correct. You should have done that also.
I was doing the only one that... No, frick, that's wrong.
What were you going to do? The only one that... Because he's both J. Jonah Jameson and Commissioner Gordon in the DCEU. Henry Cavill is Superman and is also in Deadpool Wolverine as a Wolverine variant. Zachary Levi is one of the Warriors 3. He's also Shazam. And Randall Park is Jimmy Woo and also Black Manta's assistant guy in Aquaman. Michael B. Jordan is only Killmonger.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm killing it, I think.
I think
I am.
Cyclops, Superman, Omni-Man, Darkseid, Starfire.
It could be so many different things.
I know. This one was the second hardest one because I'm looking for one specific, but 4 of them technically don't belong based on a different quality, and I have all those written down. This is why this is hard. But I'm looking for one specific one, so just pick one out.
Starfire's the only girl.
No, unfortunately not. But I
She
did have
is,
that
though.
written down. You're correct. You could have also said Darkseid because he's the only like non-human looking one, and then Cyclops is the only non-alien here. But what I was looking for is Omni-Man is the only one of this group that doesn't have heat vision.
Nice. This game rocks.
Yeah, no, we're never doing this again. This sucks. I hate this. You have no enthusiasm. You don't give a fuck, and you're not good at it.
What?
You're terrible. Yeah, I don't even want to do the
You're
last
being
one.
very mean to me.
No, we're not even doing the
No,
last
do
one.
the last one.
No, because
Frick
it's
you.
the hardest one. You're not going to get it.
Well, bet.
All right. Los Angeles Rams, Florida Panthers, Kansas City Chiefs, Miami Heat, and Michigan football.
Miami Heat.
Correct.
Yeah.
They're the only ones to not win a championship in the last 5 years.
That's exactly what I was
Nice
going to say.
work.
Frick you.
Wow, that was impressive. I can't believe you got that.
You insulted me, you made a very hard game, and you didn't stick to the 2-minute timer.
You're right.
I'm not enjoying the vibes at the
No,
moment.
you're right. You're right. Well, let me bring the vibes up.
You're very mean to me.
Wild Robot's incredible.
Yes, it is. Out of 10, go. 3, 2, 1.
9.
Yeah.
From the 45-minute mark on, was crying.
Yep. It's so weird how it's just like, oh, I'm going to cry now. Oh, I'm going to cry now.
I cried
Waves.
I was bawling my eyes out from the making of the landing strip. From that
Dude,
moment,
this-
I was bawling my eyes out. I cried the rest of the movie, the whole time. You gave it a 9 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Now, you are notoriously...
I gatekeep my 10s.
Yes, which is fair. I also gatekeep my 10s. So much so that I actually feel that I give less 10s than you do.
But we just saw Across the Spider-Verse in concert, and I bumped it from a 9 to a 10.
Excellent. Nice
I think
work.
it's finally earned it.
It's a really great movie. I'm glad to hear that. Why didn't you give Wild Robot a 10? Because I have a clear one issue with it.
Go ahead.
I think The Wild Robot is 3 different movies in one. I just think the tone is inconsistent in the middle, towards the end.
Yeah, I kind of felt that. I just felt like they handled it fine.
Sure, I didn't love how they handled it. I kind of wanted the movie and went into the movie thinking it was going to be the first 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then when it wasn't that, and they when he grew up, when Bright Bill wasn't a baby the whole movie, I was shocked. I couldn't believe they aged him at all. I didn't think it was that kind of movie. And so even though I really did enjoy things that happened after and throughout the movie, I felt that it was a tad inconsistent tonally.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where like expectations are like first watch might be a problem, but if you watch it again and you kind of know what you're watching, it might not be as big of a problem.
But it was fabulous.
Yeah,
it was nothing short of spectacular, and it is my 3rd favorite movie.
Somewhat spoiler alert of one singular joke in the movie. Now, do you know the joke that I was talking about?
And I think you oversold it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Nobody laughed in our theater.
Oh, well, I don't know what theater you were in.
Yeah, and we had a packed theater, but I don't think anybody got it.
That her kid died?
Yeah.
Dude, my entire theater was like,
Yeah. Yeah, nobody cared in our theater. And then
Weird.
when they bring it back and they're like, I'm just kidding, I'm not dead. And I was like, oh, that's the joke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
I'm happy for you. But no, I think you oversold that a tad.
I don't like that the robot had an accent. And only the robot. I think all the animals should have also had an accent.
Some of the animals had an accent.
I think all of them should have had an accent.
Oh. I get it. You're making fun of my critique of the penguin.
There you go.
There were animals with accents.
It's not a real critique. You don't actually have to defend it.
Okay.
It was a callback, you see.
I got it.
We're good?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
I'm just offended because it didn't work.
I'm offended that all the animals didn't have accents.
It's a great cast, and
I know.
I knew it was a great cast going in because you told me it was a great cast. Like the hawk is Ving Rhames, the bear is Mark Hamill, Pedro Pascal's the fox, obviously Lupita Nyong'o as the titular character. She's the wild robot, but I didn't know Bill Nighy as Longneck.
Yeah.
My goat.
Yeah.
I love Bill Nighy, one of my top 10 favorite actors of all time. We know him, obviously, know and love him from About Time, and obviously he is Davy Jones. But yeah, like he was great in it. The freaking, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Is it Matthew? He's great. He's in What We Do in the Shadows. He's briefly in Boba Fett, but he is so fucking funny. And he's the beaver that's chopping down the tree.
Yeah.
He was so funny in this. It was just such a great cast. I was thrilled with the cast.
The characters were great.
Yeah. You want to move on to the main event?
Yep.
Here's our review, our scores for Venom The Last Dance.
Out of 10. Here we
Out
go.
of 10. We have not discussed this beforehand. 3, 2, 1.
6.
4 out of 10. Yeah, that's pretty in line with what you and I feel.
Yeah. 6. Here's my review.
Tell me.
If you like the first two,
Yeah.
you'll like this. If you don't like the first two, this isn't for you. It's just more of the same.
You think?
Yeah.
I think it does certain things better than the last two, but I think that it does things significantly worse.
You have the table.
I think they go full, we're just going to be nuts here. And I thought that was cute and funny. I think they kind of do it with the first one with the lobster scene, you know, when he's like really, really hungry and he just jumps into the... But other than that scene, I don't think they do that very often, go full silly with this franchise. They do the rave in the second one.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up.
But the rave, I don't think lands.
I don't think it lands. don't think either of those necessarily land that much. But.
Sure, but like in this movie, I think the stupid, funny stuff they did, I think landed better.
Give me some examples.
The horse is hilarious. The horse had me like cackling in my theater. Like I was like, this is hilarious. With the Queen song in the back, I was like, this is the funniest thing this franchise has ever done. And I think the dance is very funny.
Yeah, that was cute.
Like, I think that doing the weird, wacky stuff like that worked best in this movie. This movie, though, even though I think it's better than Carnage, because I think Carnage is a disaster, this movie is a fucking mess. The first hour of this movie is the worst hour in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
It introduces, how dare you, Sony? Yeah, you introduce 15 different characters in the first hour and you give 10 minutes to each of them. So you develop, okay, here we're going to go Chiwetel Ejiofor, the army captain guy, and we're going to spend 10 minutes with him. And now we're going to introduce Dr. Payne, and now we're going to introduce their character, and now we're finally back to Eddie and Venom, and we're going to spend 10 minutes with them, and now we got to spend 10 minutes with Null, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. Rachel had no idea what the fuck was going on. Nobody had any idea what was going on in that movie because of the way it opens. And if you have to have very niche comic knowledge to know anything about any of these characters. I get that we've been building up Null because they showed him in the trailer 2 weeks ago. By the way, clearly added him to the movie 2 weeks ago, by the way. Clearly he was not a part of this movie until 2 weeks ago. But like, I get that people have been hyping him up, so some people now know who Null is, but the vast majority of people probably don't know who Null is. To introduce him in the third movie in this... Oh my, what a disaster. Just the first hour of this movie is a disaster. That's what I want to say. It's like, it's breakneck speeds. They give all the characters both too much and not enough development. And it's not, the last hour of this movie, not even, the last 30 to 45 minutes of this movie isn't good enough to justify the first hour being the mess that it is.
That's fair. Yee.
Like, think about the Christmas Doctor. Like, how much time they spend with her. Who the fuck is she? Like,
yeah, that didn't bother me that much, but I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah, they try to give you some stuff on the Doctor with the lightning bolt and her brother, and it's like, I don't know, it felt like a Sony movie. You know, it felt kind of like Madam Web, where they're like so obviously trying to like, you know, and then like, oh, she can use her arm at the end and have electricity powers or whatever the frick. Yeah, I think. It's not great. I think anyone who's like, oh, this is like peak, I don't know what you're talking about. But I guess I went in expecting it to be about that level of fun. You said the last 30 to 45 minutes is fun.
No, absolutely.
It's a great time.
Absolutely.
With the little thing and it, like shooting people out the back of his neck. It's crazy. But yeah, it is a lot of fun, and it's not enough to make it a good movie or a great movie. I just think, I think 6 out of 10 is fair to me. Yeah.
I will say, saw this movie with my good friend Soups, Matt, friend of the show. Saw this with our good friend Connor, and saw this with Rachel. Soups, those of you that follow Soups know that he loved this movie. He gave it a tremendous review. He said it's his favorite of the trilogy, loved it. He did genuinely love this movie. As soon as the credits come up, he goes, that was amazing. That was awesome. That was the best one in the franchise. And me and Connor bullied him our entire drive home. Like, we were just like, what are you talking about? That movie was terrible.
Yeah. I don't think it's terrible. The script and the meanderingness, and it's just like, you don't, nothing is spectacular in this movie. I don't know, and there are some things that are bad. There's nothing spectacular, and then there's like 30 minutes of great, and then that's kind of what you get.
I wouldn't say it was great. I would say it's fun.
Yeah, great fun.
Let's go into spoilers?
Sure, spoiler alert.
All right, so this is our spoiler alert. Go watch it though.
Yeah.
This is the number one thing about Venom The Last Dance. If you've seen the last two, you should see this one.
Yeah, and especially if you liked the last two or didn't dislike the last two.
Yes.
I think you'll feel about the same, in my opinion, about the same as on this one. Just go in expecting what you should expect. Don't expect it to be Infinity War or The Dark Knight.
Yes, and this is the last thing I want to say before we go into spoilers is I was shockingly emotional at the ending.
Me too.
But it is because we've spent 3 movies with Venom and Eddie that, like, sure, I can talk all the shit about how much I hate this portrayal of this character and how much I hated Carnage and the portrayal of Carnage and how much I dislike the. I can talk all the shit. But at the end of the day, we've been with these characters for 7-8 years at this point.
Yeah.
I remember when they announced that Tom Hardy was going to be Venom. Like, these are our guys at this point. The ending, I was like, I really give a fuck right now.
I shed a couple tears. I did.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? I was like, am I watching The Wild Robot right now? Like, what's going on?
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's because we do care. You do care no matter what. So I would say, no matter what anybody's going to tell you, there are going to be people that tell you that this is the worst movie of the year. There are going to be people that tell you it's the best movie of the year. And there are going to be people like us where he kind of liked it and I kind of didn't like it. But go see it.
Yeah.
Because it's worth the $20 or whatever it is if you've seen the previous 2 and you are, I mean, I assume if you're watching our show you're at least a somewhat Spider-Man fan and you care about the Sony movies at all. It is.
And one other thing, again, we've done spoiler alert, so maybe we go into spoilers here. For Venom The Last Dance, I think they showed too much in the trailers, which I guess they had to, but like the We Are Venom thing was kind of cringe, but could have kind of been funny if you didn't know it, and the Venom horse, and they were like you said, the first hour wasn't great until you get to the last 30, 40 minutes. They don't show anything from the last 40 minutes, which obviously, but like there wasn't anything in the first hour and a half that was good or was supposed to be good action or punchy that you haven't really seen, except maybe the waterfall stuff, but that didn't last very long. I feel like, and like the whole opening action scene you've basically already seen.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you're saying. It's just another case of these movies are showing too much in these trailers.
Yeah.
Just stop it, please.
And the plane thing. And
because even though you're right, they were restrained. The whole final act was not in any of the trailers. But they still showed too much.
Yeah.
You're right. You're absolutely cooking with that.
So
full spoilers. Now we're going into spoilers.
Venom dying. The whole scene was like, what? And then they hit us with a little 1-2 punch with the montage. Crazy.
The montage was crazy.
Crazy.
And then when he's at the Statue of Liberty, I was like,
what?
Oh my gosh. Like, I give so much fucks right now.
Yeah.
That surprised the fuck out of me.
Yeah, they did a good job with it.
They did a really good job with it, which I can't believe. When he wakes up and he's like, buddy.
Yeah, and the government guy was just like, he's not coming back.
Is that the government guy that was in the darkness the whole movie?
In the darkness.
There's a guy that's a government guy in darkness.
Yeah, that was another thing.
Stupid. Bad. Bad. Just bad.
That was great.
Now we're in spoilers. I'm going to talk about all this shit. The Dr. Payne origin, okay? This is a niche fucking character. By the way, gender swapped, right? Dr. Payne, the Spider-Man character, is a guy. And doing the origin, it would be like doing the origin for Batman. And you like have them, they're in the play. And he's like, hey, I want to leave. And they go out to the alley, and in 2 seconds, a guy comes up, pulls out a gun, bang, bang, and then goes to Bruce Wayne and goes, ha, 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 you're never going to get me, I killed your parents. And then ran away, and it's like a 1-minute scene.
Yeah.
Like, very poorly done, in very bad taste. That's, like, why did you even include it? It has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I don't understand how it affects literally, like...
anything.
It basically just, like, gives her motivation for why she's working at Area 51.
Who cares?
Yeah, no one.
Like, it doesn't have to do with the end of the movie. Nothing. That was... When I couldn't believe it. And Rachel's like, well, who's this? Who's this? Rachel's got no fucking clue who Null is or any of these people.
Also, did you think it was a little bit of whiplash when... do you know what I'm going to say? You don't know what I'm
No
going to
Way
say.
Home. After credit scene. Oh, no. Never mind. Continue.
Oh, yeah, that. But the girl that helped us at the end, it took me a second to realize what was happening. I wasn't sure if that was like actually Venom or not, because they never show her. Like, they show her looking at Venom in the little case for like 2 seconds.
You're totally cooking.
And then
yes,
and then she just randomly has it and then gives it to Venom, and then I'm like, oh, so it is Venom. How did she get it? And then later
Gets a different symbiote.
Eddie is like, that's the girl that helped us. And I was like, okay, so she definitely, it was a little bit of a like, and that whole scene happened so fast. He walks in, shoots this person, Venom's there all of a sudden. It was a little crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me that the acid killed the monsters at the end. Why would acid kill the monsters if nothing else killed the monsters? Like if the plane engine didn't kill the monster. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That didn't make sense to me either.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
The ending is fun. All the symbiotes running around are fun. The base fight is fun. What'd you think of Riza Fonz's family?
Another character that was like kind of just, it was in there.
But I loved them. They were the highlight of the movie for me.
He was fun. And like, to be fair, he was one of the characters I cared about because the whole time I was like, I want him to see an alien. I want him to see an alien bad.
The running bit of they always are in frame with aliens but aren't seeing them, I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
So when the aliens fall on their car, I thought that was funny. When the alien is on top of the gas station and they're in the gas station, when they meet Eddie and they don't know he's an alien, like I thought all of that was hysterical.
Yeah.
I loved them. Connor walked out of the movie and he was like, that was the worst part of the movie. And me and Matt were like, no, they were the best. We loved them.
And he comes back and shoots like one rocket launcher and then leaves again.
Yeah, hilarious.
like what?
And he's like, fuck aliens. Like, that was great.
Yeah.
I thought they were great. I really enjoyed that family. I mean, do you remember the rumors was that was going to be May Parker?
This is why I don't listen to rumors.
Like, thank God. But, yeah, that was all fun and funny and hilarious, and I actually liked that. I liked them a lot. Connor had a problem that was Riza Fonz, and I said it didn't make a difference. Rachel had no idea that was the lizard. Did you?
Oh, I do now. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and he was like, I'm just looking at the lizard the whole time. I'm like, no, we're not.
No, you're not.
And he does. It's completely different accent and this and that.
Speaking of accents, I wish his whole family and like everyone around him had.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
It really bothered me that only he had it as much as it.
I hate you so much.
Like the son was just talking like a normal kid. Like what's that about?
I hate you so much.
Another weird thing that bothered me, just it kind of felt Madam Webby, where it's like the editing and like the spacing just doesn't make sense. Why did it take Venom so effing long to catch up to Eddie in the river? In the
river.
Like it kept showing, cutting back to the symbiote just like going through the water. I was like, he was like 5 feet away from you. Like he gets knocked into the water and like you jump in to go after him like 4 seconds later.
Yep.
And then like for the next like 10 minutes, you're trying to catch up to him. Yep. And then like they shoot a net on him. Like maybe it's some sort of specialized electrical sound net or whatever. But I'm like, why don't you just go through the holes?
Yep.
You're a symbiote.
You're liquid.
Yeah.
You're not a solid.
Do you also think it was kind of stupid that these extreme big gargantuan creatures created by Null, this super powerful being, can only find them and they immediately disappear every time he's not in full form? Like he's looking at him, he's like this far away from him and he goes away and he's like,
yep, stupid.
And I would understand if they blocked it and did the screenplay where like he's in a crowd of people and then he gets lost. But there are some scenes where it's like they're the only ones in the room. And
he's staring right at him and you see the outline of Tom Hardy. And it's like, what? Are you a fucking idiot? Yeah, no, that did bother me. And the whole thing about the codex, obviously they completely broke lore on what the codex actually is. That's stupid. Whatever. Introducing this codex concept in the third movie in a franchise is fucking stupid. But God, like the fact that he gets the codex at the end is so dumb.
He got the codex?
In the after credit scene, you see it go into his sword, and he's like, I'm coming for you, and then you see his face, which was very poorly CGI'd, I might add.
Yeah, I just thought it was... I didn't know that he officially got the codex in that.
I didn't think so either, but that's what Connor and Matt both said.
Oh, interesting. I thought it was just like showing that he's still a thing. Yeah, so 2 more things. The end credit scenes of Venom, what did you think? So people are like, this is the worst end credit scene of all time. I didn't think they were great, but like I feel like we've definitely had worse.
The second one is so pointless.
Yeah, but the end, it wasn't a mid-credit scene. You know how many end credit scenes we've gotten that are just like so pointless and are just there.
But like the end credit scene of Spider-Man Homecoming is technically pointless, but it's a funny joke.
The patience thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I get. But like even then, I remember, I don't know. I just feel like there's been end credit scenes where it's just like, again, I like this one better, but the Avengers they're just sitting there eating shawarma. Like a cockroach going up to a symbiote is about what I expect from an end credit scene. Sure. And like a guy that they didn't really explain what happened to him coming out and seeing the rubble. And then that's about what you should get from an end credit scene. Like, sure, I don't know what people were expecting.
I don't know. Anybody that says that that's the worst end credit scene we've ever gotten, I disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think
someone in our Discord did. A patron.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. The Noel end credit scene I thought was worse. Because his face is so poorly CGI'd.
Yeah. I don't know. Not neither of them are great.
They did include that into the movie literally a month ago.
So what do you think about the fact that in Venom The Last Dance, Noel's not in it?
No.
He's just... He is in the first 2 minutes for exposition to just explain...
Talking to who? Who's he talking to?
Yeah, he's just doing a monologue.
Yep.
That's it, dude.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And everyone's like, oh, Noel's going to be the big bad. How are they going to beat him? I got a question that was like, do they respect Noel's power level? I'm like, yes and no. Like, he's this big bad. Everyone's threatened by him. So I guess they respect his power level because they make him seem like a big threat. But like, we don't see like his power level. We don't see it all.
No.
So I think some people are going to be super upset about that because like he was in the trailers.
It's pointless. Everything in Venom is in the trailer, like for Noel.
Yeah, exactly. It did feel a little weird that, again, they introduced him in the last movie as this big bad, and then the whole time we are only fighting his minions.
How do you feel about this being the end of the trilogy? Are they coming back, et cetera, et cetera? Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm sure Sony will still do stuff, but I don't think Tom's Venom is coming back.
Really?
No.
You don't feel that the ending where he's like, it's not goodbye, it's see you later, or whatever? You don't think that that's keying up them to meet again?
Maybe. Who cares?
I think 100%. My concern, do not bring this into the MCU. Absolutely not.
I don't think Kevin will. I think Kevin knows better.
Kevin knows better, but Sony may put their foot down.
No. Yeah, it's just kind of there. But it is what it is. I mean, I had fun with it. I would still encourage people to see it. Like, it's a superhero movie. It's not anything to write home about, but it's a movie.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't upset I saw it.
Yeah. Like Terrifier 3.
Correct. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.